Welcome to Talking Tuesdays with the Starch Queens. I'm Jeanne Schumacher, the Queen of Diamonds, and my partner is Nancy Matthews, the Queen of Hearts, and together we are the Starch Queens. Our lifestyle and weight loss program is online, and this is where we provide coaching, recipes, and an educational program that helps everybody to find weight loss, success, and healing. And we teach about what we call the trifecta approach. The trifecta means you have to change what goes in, so that's the food and drink. You should change what goes on, so that's your personal care products, your environmental toxins, and then you have to exercise. So we teach about what we call the trifecta. And you can find our program at sqweightloss.com. You can check out our resources on the starchqueens.net. And if you would be so kind, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Starch Queens. We have two special guests tonight. We have Laura Wing and Judy Harff. And we'll talk more about with them because they're going to share with us their why. Because it's so important for you to understand about your why. So our topics tonight include what is your why? And then if we get to it, because we've been trying to get to it for 3 weeks now, some of the top toxic beauty ingredients to avoid. So welcome to our show, ladies.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Judy. Hi, Laura. How are you?
Hi. Well, thank you. How are you guys?
We're great. It's fabulous. I mean, isn't knowing your why one of the most important things in this journey? I mean, it's just really what drives our determination and creates our motivation and helps us get healthy.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, Judy, would you like to share with us a little bit about your story and share with us your why?
Sure. I think my why started probably 30 plus years ago. I really was interested in being healthy, and it just made sense to me. I'm terrified of needles and doctors and all the rest. So for me, the quickest way to be able to avoid any of that was to be able to make sure that I was doing the right things. And somehow taking the natural route and relying on what the resources in the earth has to provide us with made sense to me, rather than the invasion of toxins and doctors. And not that there isn't a place for that, but that wasn't my first option. So I really started that out a long, long time ago. Along the way, I ended up eating, occasionally I had chicken and fish just because there was nothing out there at that point to support what I was doing. And then when I had my daughters, my doctor actually, fortunately I had a pediatrician who was a homeopath, and she supported me. And so my kids started on soy milk right from the get-go. And,
wow. That's
and
good.
It was, yeah. So, and they're now 24 and 21. So you must know, at that point, there was only one kind of soy milk that you could get. And that was it, boy. We still had a little bit of fish and chicken, but there was no dairy in the house. And then finally, probably my pediatrician sent me a letter and said, she's found this doctor called Dr. Furman, who's written this book called Disease Proof Your Child. So I read that, and after that I was sold. I was like, oh my God, for the first time I've got scientific research to back what I just naturally felt was the right thing to be doing. So after that, we kind of, even my husband, who he'd like to consider himself a carnivore. Really, I said to him, well, I just started introducing, we just ate plants. That was it. Beans, nuts, seeds, whatever Dr. Furman recommended, his G-bombs. And ultimately along the way, my girls ended up becoming vegan because for them it just made sense. It wasn't that they were, I forced them to do that. They could eat whatever they wanted outside of the home. But when they were at home, that's what I offered. So my biggest why was really because I wanted to be able to stay healthy, and I still do want to be able to. I want to get to 90 and 100 and be healthy and climbing mountains and, active, and then one day just pass out in my sleep when my body says, okay, I'm done. So that was really, really my why, and still is my why to this day, is to be able to see my next 50 years, or actually 40 if I'm going to get to 50, 100.
Awesome.
But your husband has an even more impressive story, and I've done some interviews with you, but I'd share with everybody out there because this is such an amazing story.
So basically, as you know, our household was has been plant-based for many, many years. I mean, I've even taught plant-based classes and courses. But what happened was, he would eat whatever we ate at home. And then when he went out for dinner, he'd be like, oh, shame, Todd, you've got to have a piece of steak. Oh, Todd, you've got to have some meat. So he'd come home with a big piece of meat that he split up into 3 different pieces, and we'd have it for like 3 nights. But then, and he kind of got what I was doing, but it just didn't, on a cerebral level, but somehow he wasn't ready. And then at the beginning of last year and a half ago, January, year and a half ago, he ended up with having rotator cuff surgery. And right after that, he got really sick and just had a terrible virus that he couldn't kick. And then all of a sudden, one day we were walking on the beach and he said, Judy, I can't walk. And this is a guy that runs miles and miles and miles. And he was tripping. And the next day it was even worse. And so he went to the doctor. And the doctor said, you're going to the hospital right now. I think you've got Guillain-Barré, which is apparently some sort of an autoimmune illness. And got into hospital. And then they confirmed that that's what he had. And basically what Guillain-Barré does is the nerve endings from your fingers and your feet stop functioning, and then it just spreads all the way up your body. And Guillain-Barré typically happens because the body starts attacking itself because it feels like there's something going on. And of course, he'd had 2 serious illnesses back to back, and so the body thought, oh my God, something's happening here, and so it started attacking. So he ended up in hospital on some very expensive medications. And at that point, I said to him, okay. I said, well, there's not a whole lot you can do. Your arm's in the sling because you've got some he just had rotator cuff surgery. I said, the other arm's got a drip in it. I said, and you really can't do you can't move a lot. So we're going to go to a health center. So he was like, Judy, I'm in hospital. Don't you have any compassion for me? I'm like, no, let's keep filling the form in. So we kept filling.
Had he heard about True North?
And so that's where we went. We went to True North.
But had he heard about True North and what he was getting into?
He knew about it because I'd been wanting to go there for many, many moons. And so I managed to, now he really didn't have an excuse. He couldn't do anything because, for the next 6 weeks, he was kind of out of it anyway. So he was like, okay, well, if I can't do much, I might as well go. So he did. At the end of True North, which was a phenomenal experience, he actually ended up going completely plant-based. The education there is incredible. I think that finally the head and the heart connected. He was like, okay, I can do this. And he's been plant-based, well, what's almost 2 years now. And he's dropped, I don't even know how many pounds. He's dropped 50, probably around about 50 something. He actually has got to his all-time, he was got down to 177 just recently. And then he said to me, I think I'm going to go for 165 now. He hasn't been 165 since school days. He dropped all his meds. He was on 2 different kinds of medications for high blood pressure and also for depression, and stopped all of those, and it hasn't happened again. So, and he pretty much is on track with the rest of the family now.
He's off of all medications, right? I mean, he's completely healed from this syndrome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that's amazing.
And they didn't give them any notice of this when he was in the hospital. They basically said, "This is what you're going to have for the rest of your life."
Well, some people end up. The worst part about this illness is that people can end up where your extremities, just the nerve endings, travel until eventually they go from the hands and the feet, and they just travel up the body until they eventually hit the heart. So you end up, you can end up with paralysis kind of thing. He would have recovered. Well, hopefully most people do. Some people end up in wheelchairs for many, many months. And the amount of people I've spoken to are, have had really, really bad experiences. He came off unbelievably lightly by comparison. So no, I think that ultimately he could. He would have recovered, but he recovered very quickly.
That's amazing. My husband's cousin developed that as well, and she's still, it's been a couple of years, still having problems with it. So, your why is amazing, and what a great testimony for the doctors and the staff and what they do over at True North.
Oh, fabulous.
That's just phenomenal. It's such a true healing center.
That
That's amazing. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
You
Awesome.
are, I mean, how long did it take once you got to True North before he had the tingling, and he was able to walk normal, whatnot? How long did that take?
Gee, Jean, we were there for about 4+ weeks. I would guess probably he was walking, but he still didn't have complete ambulatory skills. Probably I'd say about a week to 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Judy, this just came on all of a sudden without warning.
And from one day to the next.
Wow. That's really
One day
scary.
Yeah.
Well, that's because his immune system was so suppressed.
Well, exactly. That's what happened. His immune system was unbelievably suppressed.
It was the perfect storm.
It was totally the perfect storm.
Yeah. Wow. That's really scary. I'm really happy to hear that he's doing well and you're doing well, both on such a healthy lifestyle.
Thank you.
And your kids, I've met your kids and they're just on this amazing journey and
awesome.
Part of it as well. And it's wow. I mean, you've had a huge why, longer than most of us, out here. You've been doing this for a long time, and I'm just so impressed. I mean, we connected at Plant Stock for the first time, and
quite a few years ago.
Quite a few years ago, and we've been going to. Well, we didn't go this year to Plant Stock, but we've been going, quite a few years. But
number of years.
Your story is just, to me, so powerful, and the fact that he has absolutely no symptoms now.
The only thing that he has is if, for example, there's like a piece of plastic on the floor and he has to pick it up, there's a teeny tiny little bit of, he can't quite feel that sometimes. And that's going to come, that'll, I think, with time, because, that's the furthest nerve ending in the body. So it takes the longest time to heal. And I mean, now he's in such great shape. He's running the whole time. I mean, he wants to be 100 too, so that's good. And
you'll both be sailing off on your boat together.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's your goal.
With your sprouts. Judy introduced me to the sprout machine.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And I bought the one. She didn't get the one with that automatically waters. I got the automatic one with watering, and I just put the seeds in and walk away.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's it. It does it itself. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah, no, we use that every week. In fact, I've got my sprouts going at the moment. Fabulous.
Yeah, sprouts are so nutritious. They're really, I've been doing a lot of reading at Hippocrates Health Institute in Florida, and it talks about really in depth about the nutrition found in sprouts. It's mind-boggling.
Ooh. Can you send me some information on that? I'd like to see all of it.
I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us, Judy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We know you got to scoot, so thank you so much. We appreciate hearing your story, really.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, Judy. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Good night.
Night.
Wow, that was such a powerful story. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a real scary autoimmune disorder.
Oh my gosh. And the whole piece, with her and her husband, I remember her because I remember her calling me because we were scheduled to do something. I can't remember what. And she's like, can't go, gotta go. I remember her going to True North. We actually did some interviews. So there's more in-depth interviews about her journey and what happened at True North on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's a great interview. Everybody should watch it. It's a really good interview. So actually you gotta scroll way down because it's at the very bottom of your video. If you go on the video tab, you can see it's down towards the end. It's a really great interview while Judy and her husband are at True North. Definitely worth watching.
Well, Laura, please. I mean, Laura has been doing, I have to tell you a little bit about Laura. She's been doing the 10-day challenges for Plant-Based Westchester. And she has been doing an absolutely phenomenal job. And she went out and she started posting in some of the other Facebook groups. And now, how many now, Laura, are in there?
We had 67 people weigh in yesterday. I added over 100 people.
Awesome. That's amazing. Good job, Laura.
Incredible. So,
and I just want to say something really quick too. I haven't seen you, Laura, because you're so busy, but you've lost some weight. You seriously are looking
in your
good.
Face. Yeah.
In your face. Congratulations.
Yeah, I got a long way to go, but I'm more than halfway there now. So
that's amazing.
How many pounds have you lost now?
I honestly don't know how much I weighed to start out with, but I've lost about 50 pounds.
That's wonderful.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Congratulations.
Well
Well,
done to you.
very well done. Would you like to share your why with everybody?
Sure. I hate to follow that last one up.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yours is just as good, let me tell you.
Absolutely.
My plant-based journey started about 20 years ago. Actually, my first roommate, or my second roommate in college, I should say, was using vegetarianism as a front for anorexia. So I had a really negative opinion of vegetarians and vegans for quite some time. Well, growing up, my father was always very, very large. He had thyroid disease, lots of problems. I could go on and on listing his medical diagnoses. But when I was a young child, he was diagnosed with diabetes. And I remember him shooting himself with insulin all the time, but I really never really thought much of it. Well, I get a phone call one day when I'm in college, and my mother calls and says, "You're never going to believe what just happened. Your dad died." And I called the Chicago Police Department. He was on a business trip in Chicago. I had no idea. And yeah, he had passed away. The doctors called it a diabetic heart attack. First sign of heart disease he ever had was when he dropped dead.
Oh,
unfortunately, that's how it works.
Yep.
There's not much in between.
We buried my dad for my 21st birthday, and the man I was dating at the time, his father ended up needing quintuple bypass surgery on top of having a valve replaced. So we were just doing a lot of reading, and I did read a lot of research of what eventually became the China study, but it wasn't published yet. I found Dr. McDougall, I found Dr. Dean Ornish, and one day I just took the plunge. It was a total and complete change for me. It's actually, a big change. And I lost substantial weight, and I was, the healthiest I'd been in my entire life. I was doing really well. And then somewhere along the way, I got married and I had my daughter, and I went through a nasty divorce, and my daughter and I were living in more or less poverty. It was pretty bad for a while. And just one thing at a time, little by little by little, things started sneaking in. I was like, oh, well, coconut oil, it's good for you. Let's just let that sneak in. And oh, it doesn't matter if I grab that bag of chips. And I was depressed and miserable, and things just kept sneaking in little by little, and the pounds started coming on little by little. And next thing I know, 10 years had passed, and I was heavier than I'd ever been. I was talking to somebody about, health information, and they were trying to tell me to go on some crazy fad diet. And I was trying to explain to them the right way to eat. And they're looking at me like I'm crazy, because here I am, probably nearly 100 pounds overweight. What right do I have to give them any advice? And I just, it just kind of sparked a thought in my mind, and I don't want to leave my daughter behind with nobody. I've got a message here that I need to portray properly. I need to take care of myself. And it was about a year and a half ago, and I just slowly, the weight's coming off very, very, very slowly, but
it's coming off.
It is. And you're doing it the right way. And you're helping, and the bigger piece is you're helping other people to change their health destiny.
Oh,
look at the impact that you're having. Just as a matter of fact, between yesterday and today, 67 people joined another weight loss program, another weight loss challenge.
That's amazing. Laura, your journey your why is so profound. So sorry that you lost your dad. That's very much like my story as well. You're doing the right thing. Excuse me, I need to mute for a moment.
Well, Nancy's still dealing with the cold that she's got from her grandson, but your story is just so powerful, really, Laura. You recognized at the time, and what I love about this is that you went ahead and started doing research, and you found the McDougall and the Dean Ornish, and you started realizing that there were people out there that were already ahead and working on this and changing other people's health destiny, and you recognize that. And that is just so powerful. And yes, I understand. We all go through these changes, these, what I call the ups and downs, and like you said, you get these things coming back into your diet, and just a little bit at a time. Oh, just a little bit, it's not going to hurt me. And then before you know it, you're back in a health crisis again. But what I love is that you've said, I'm not going to do this. And what I love is that you really have made these changes, not just for you, but for your family. So
I mean, your daughter, I mean, not wanting to leave your daughter alone. I mean, there's no greater why. I mean, there's no greater why. And I'm so happy you're part of our Starch Queens program. I'm so grateful that you're leading the 10-day challenges in plant-based Westchester. What you're doing is you're paying it forward. I mean, you're doing so many good things for so many people, and you're leading an example. And I always tell people, you know, even though they might be 100 pounds overweight or 200 pounds overweight or 10 pounds overweight, but when they adopt this lifestyle and they learn the truth about a whole food plant-based lifestyle and how it heals, we're all on this journey. None of us are Barbie and Ken. Our body sizes are every shape from here to there, you know, but yet we're still losing, we're educated. And I always believe we do have something to share regardless of what weight we're at, because, you know, there's a whole lot of scholars out there that are really overweight. And there's a lot of scholars that are, you know, regular weight, but it doesn't discount their knowledge. And you have the knowledge. So
once you have that knowledge, you can't let that go. I mean, you've got the knowledge, and you're putting forward to this for your daughter. I mean, look at the example that you're setting for her. Look at the foundation you're setting for her so that she knows how to change her health destiny, and she knows what's right. Now, how old is she now?
She'll be 13 in 2 months.
Oh, wow. I'm just so excited for you, because I know personally for myself, you know, my children were older, and so they haven't quite made the transition yet. And I'm so thankful that your daughter is at the age where she can take this in and pull it in and still appreciate it, and yet understand why. And yes, still have the ability to, when she gets healthy, or when she gets, you know, older, that she's not going to run into a lot of the same issues that you did, you know, that her grandfather had. She's not going to have these things. So, wow.
Yeah. She's been plant-based her entire life.
Oh,
what a gift.
We've eaten more junk than I would like to admit, but she's been plant-based her whole life.
Well, you've given her a true gift. I mean, that is absolutely the gift of health, and you're leading by example, and what you're doing, it's going to be part of the fiber of who she is, and that's going to be ingrained in her, and that's wonderful. So, and exactly what, I'm sorry, everybody, I've got my grandson's virus that's been going around, and so I've kind of got the bronchitis thing going on. So when I stop and cough, I apologize. So I'm trying to mute myself. But what Jeanne took over and said, that's why she's my partner and dear friend. She said exactly what I was trying to cough out. So, I mean, it's just wonderful what you're doing, and just keep the momentum. And your why is your determination, your passion, and it keeps you going, and you're healing your body from the inside out. I can see all the changes in you, Laura, just since you joined the Starch Queens. You are shrinking.
You know, from my group, I hear a lot of people that are talking about how their husbands don't want to eat that way, or their kids don't want to eat that way, and it causes a lot of trouble for them. And it is hard. You know, like my husband keeps his chips and stuff in his car because I don't want them in the house because I'll eat them.
Right.
But one thing I was going to say is that, you know, we got married just over 3 years ago. And when we got married, 3 days after we got married, he was in the hospital, ended up having his gallbladder removed. It was a mess. He didn't want a wife, he wanted a nurse. But anyway, what I was going to say is that he basically eats the way I eat at the house. He eats more chips or cookies or whatever, and eats whatever he wants when he's out in a restaurant. And usually he takes leftovers from the house for lunch. And just with those changes, and some of it, you know, he lost a lot of the weight when he was in the hospital, but he's managed to keep it off for 3 years. So he has lost and kept off a little over 40 pounds, and he's reversed his diabetes. And that's awesome. Just an unintentional change. I mean, because he's just now admitting that what he did.
Gold star for hubby. Gold star for hubby.
I'm just saying that, you know, people need to get so discouraged with their family members and think they don't want to change, they're not going to do this. And they don't have to do it 100% to be able to see benefits from it.
That's right. Awesome. I love that you shared that.
Am I further?
That's amazing. That is seriously amazing. I mean, I'm so proud and so happy for you, for him, I mean, my gosh. I mean, think about just the money alone from the medications. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
that's
Huge,
incredible. Huge savings. I mean,
huge savings.
plus
Huge
all
savings.
the good health that I mean, how's he feeling otherwise?
He says he feels great. He has tons of energy. They tease him at work because when he works outside at a petrochemical plant, and they have to climb up stairs all the time, multiple floors, and it's 100 degrees down here in the summer. And they all tell him he's got to go first because he'll run them over if they don't let him go first. He wasn't like that several years ago.
Well, we'll see what a great positive influence you've been on his life. And he doesn't need a nurse now. He has a wife. A really sexy one to boot.
I don't know about that, but it's fun to tease him about it.
Absolutely. And you can, and I can see, because like the last time we were talking, I can definitely see like,
oh yeah, absolutely,
I mean, huge changes, and it's awesome. So kudos to you, and I'm so proud of you.
I don't want to let Laura go just yet. I want Laura to share a little bit about her bike story. I always found it absolutely inspiring. Please, Laura, if you have the time, share it with everybody, your bike story.
Well, about a year after I started back eating right again, I started walking. I was walking every day for a mile or two, and it was getting to be springtime, and it was starting to get really hot down here. And I was slowly increasing the amount of time I was spending walking, but it was just too hot. I don't want to be outside for 4 or 5 hours a day.
Didn't you say that people were stopping along the road to pick you up to see if you needed a ride?
Yeah, the neighbors were offering to help me find my daughter. Like people I don't even know were pulling over to the side of the road and asking me, if I needed help to find my daughter, if I wanted to ride home. It was pretty funny.
That's really funny.
To see some fat woman walking around when it's 95, 96 degrees, and
Hey, at least they stopped and asked. So many neighborhoods, there's people that won't do that.
That's true. Right? I didn't know who most of these people are, but
there's a lot of good people.
I was walking through the garage one day and I saw my husband's old bike. It's probably 30 years old. I don't know. It's very old. And I thought, I haven't ridden a bike in 20 years. I used to ride it a lot as a teenager before I learned how to drive. I wonder if I'd kill myself if I got on it. And I ended up started riding a lap around my neighborhood's 1.8 miles. And so I just started riding, and slowly I started increasing it up. Right now, because I'm homeschooling my daughter, so I don't have as much time during this day as I would like. But my objective is to get 14 laps done every day, which is 25 miles. Today I only got 18 in, so.
Only.
Yeah.
It's getting dark, so I can't go riding in the dark. I might get run over.
But
it's actually kind of funny because the same neighbors that used to be offering me a ride, I had a lady pull me over. She was just driving down the street and she flagged me over, and I thought, oh great, she's going to yell at me for riding my bike in the street. I've had some people almost hit me. So I figured she was just going to yell at me, and she's like, girl, how many miles are you riding a day now? And she told me I need to go get myself a blankety blank bicycle. I told my husband the other day, this girl's losing weight.
I love that story.
That is awesome.
It is so awesome. And you've been consistent at it. You're doing it, and you're building your cardiovascular, your muscle. I bet you got some rockin' legs.
I can see the definition of my legs. It's actually kind of funny because my weight loss slowed a lot since I started riding my bike, but I'm shrinking.
Yep. I know. We can see you.
Because your fat is changing to muscle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was funny. I saw a plant-based doctor the other day, and she was writing up some labs to check for some problems I had. And she says, "Do we need to check your vitamin D level?" And she took one look at me and said, "Nope, we don't need to do that. You get enough sun."
Well, you are absolutely living testimony of how a person who knows their why can change their health destiny, Laura. And thank you for spending time with us. I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal. You've done not only changed your nutritional path, you've changed your physical fitness path. You've gone from walking to cycling. You found something that you love to do, and you're sticking with it. And that's what they say. If you find something that you love, you'll do it, and stick with it. If it's walking or cycling or jogging or yoga, if you find what you like, you'll do it. And that's what's really, really awesome. So 25 miles a day. How long does that take you?
Just amazing.
About 2.5 hours if I can do it straight out. And I'll be honest with you, I took Chef AJ's advice. I didn't do what I loved. I did what I hated the least.
I love it.
Now I actually miss it. If I don't get out on my bike, I don't feel right. Like I feel like I need to just like, I don't know, like
it's a habit.
Still in a chair. I'm fidgeting everywhere.
It's a habit. Jeanne can tell you, you've built new neurons in your brain. It's now a habit that you crave.
And I sure didn't. I mean, especially when I'm out there riding and it's pouring down rain or whatever. I mean, it's just, it's not my favorite thing to do, but it's definitely a habit.
Yep. That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, absolutely. I want to share real quick. Laura, are you going to hang with us for the rest of the show, or are you going to exit stage left?
It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do.
We'd love to have you. We definitely love having you as a panelist. I want to read real quick Howard Bielich. Howard is my friend, and he's also part of Plant-Based Chico. Howard shares his journey. Howard started his journey to reverse diabetes for one thing. He didn't want to have his legs amputated like two of my relatives. That's really scary. And seeing all the amputees in the home where my wife is brought to that home. And I hope to avoid Alzheimer's, unfortunately too late for my wife. So Howard has a very powerful why. His wife is in the same nursing home where my mom passed away. She has Alzheimer's. And Howard also has blood pressure issues. I can just throw that in because I know Howard. And Howard also spent time at True North. So that is a really, really powerful why for Howard. Howard's changed his health destiny immense. And I love the comment where, Howard, you tell us you never knew you had a solar plexus until you lost your gut. I mean, isn't that just amazing? Yeah. Howard, you're doing so good. You have a very phenomenal why, a very powerful why. And I'll also add that Howard has a beautiful daughter. And since being a woman and a daughter, I sure as hell wish my dad was still here. And my dad he'd be in early 90s now, but had he adopted a whole food plant-based lifestyle, he could still be here, even though he had severe heart disease. And as a daughter, I miss my parents so much.
I know.
I would love to have my dad here. I mean, there's so many times, I still pick up the phone. I want to call my dad, I want to call my mom. So Howard, kudos to you for wanting that why for yourself, but you're also indirectly giving your daughter and your family and your grandchildren the best gift you possibly can, the gift of you. So that's really profound. So thank you for sharing. We are so grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, we have Lisa Sin, who also shared with us her why. Lisa Sin is one of our Starch Queens members, and she has got such a powerful why. And she's made such progress. What is she up to, about 60 pounds now?
She's shrinking too, just like Laura.
She is. And she's just doing such a phenomenal job, and I'm so proud of her. And she's starting to increase on Fitbit. She's starting to move. Before she couldn't. And now she is. Now, baby steps. We're starting with little pieces here, little pieces there, but she's just doing such great things. And I love how she shared, she got on, and we talk a lot about not weighing yourself, okay, all the time. We weigh once a month and then put the scale away. And she shared with us for the first time that she was able to wear her engagement ring. And I just wanted to boohoo, because she hadn't been able to wear it for a long, long time. And she was able to wear this ring. And I was just like, oh my God, I know. What?
3. We have 3 ladies in our Starch Queens program. Anita, Lisa.
Yeah.
And I just went blank on our 3rd that has all got their wedding or engagement rings back on.
I know. That's just to me.
My heart.
I know. Well, Anita's wasn't an engagement ring. It was just a ring, a beautiful ring her husband gave her.
Sapphire ring her husband gave her. That's what it was.
Right.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And she held that up and showed us that she could actually get it on. She hadn't worn it in, when she said 25 years.
Yeah.
That she couldn't wear it.
Long time.
And that's just powerful. What changes have you seen, Laura?
Mostly just changes in the way my clothes fit and the energy level that I have. I mean, my energy level's through the roof, even considering all the issues I've had. I don't really wear jewelry. One thing I did notice is I wear these barefoot running sandals. And it's basically a strap that goes all the way around my foot. And every time I'm turning around, I'm having to cut more and more of the strap off because I'm walking on it. So I've definitely lost circumference around my ankles and in my feet. So that's one thing that I've definitely noticed. I probably cut, maybe 3 or 4 inches off.
Wow.
6 or 7 months.
Huge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that goes all the way around the whole foot, not just around the ankle. It goes over the top and everything.
Exactly, but still.
Yeah. So I'm definitely shrinking. My clothes fit better. I can fit through tighter spaces again. It's kind of nice.
That's nice. Right?
And I don't feel like I'm limited by my body so much anymore. I can do what I want to do, and I can go all day long. And actually, it's kind of funny. When I'm out on my bike, my daughter complains if I make her ride 5 laps a day, and she's complaining and dragging, and it takes her almost an hour and a half to do those. And she's like, Mom, I just can't keep up with you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That is just awesome. That is wonderful. Awesome. But the kid can't keep up with the mom. Woohoo!
Yeah, that's she's awesome. 13 and I'm 40.
Good. Well, again, leading by example. That's absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely.
Good deal. I just want to point out too, the feet, because that's one of the things when I lost my weight that I first noticed is like, why are my shoes so weird? They weren't fitting right. And I went and got some new shoes and I said, will you measure my feet? And I actually lost a whole size in my shoes. So it's really one of those things that you can, when you lose weight, you actually can go down a size in shoes. And my toes changed, the weirdest thing ever.
You had these pointy toes, right?
No, I said toenails. I wish I could just take my foot up here. If I was good in yoga, I'd bring my foot up. But no, I had my toes, the second toe, the toenail is like what they call, that my podiatrist called, it grows like this. And it's been that way since birth. And I mean, I always just call them, weird toenail. And so I said these weird toes, and I'd hack them off with the toenail clippers. And it's like, try to paint over them, and they're just ugly. But when I started my plant-based journey, like 3 years into it, I was like, what is going on with my toenail? I looked at it and it was like getting flatter and flatter and flatter. And then it's the one on my right foot is, I'm going to take a picture of it. I'm going to take a picture of it and I'm going to put it in the comments. It's totally flat, looks like a toenail, where my left toe is still in metamorphosis. The hump, the comb is like getting flatter, but it's still changing. And I could tell when my toe was healing, my toenail was changing, because my toe, it tingled at the tip of it. And I was like, wait, it's weird. So I don't know, plant-based, changed my toenails, my claim to fame.
Okay. Well, we didn't get back. Let's get back to Lisa's sin. We kind of deviated.
Totally. So this morning, every morning on our Starch Queens program, we have what's called Driving with Nancy. I have a really cool mount where I mount my phone on my windshield, and we have a daily educational topic from Jeanne. And yesterday was why.
I was just gonna say, you're great. She does this. She's absolutely amazing on the Driving with Nancy. Good morning, everybody. Hi, and she's driving along, and it's absolutely hilarious.
But every now and then there'll be a squirrel, like, oh, look at that cute yellow bike, or.
So she may not ever get to the topic because she's talking about something else, and completely, well, I'm here at work, bye,
Yeah, but it's always about our journey and coaching and a topic. But yesterday our topic was why, because it's the first of the month. And then today was believe in yourself. So I incorporated the two of them for the 20-minute drive or 15-minute drive to work with me. And so we wanted to share with all of you our why, because we have 90 days left in 2018. And that's very powerful. I mean, Christmas is around the corner. People are wanting to get healthy and lose weight. The whole, oh my gosh, it's only a few months till the holidays. And that's when people eat excessively, drink excessively. And then on January 1st, it's like, oh, the crave, got to have my New Year's resolution. So I thought, what a great opportunity it would be to let's share people's why. So maybe they can get out of that end of year, first of year madness and just adopt a lifestyle that they can do forever. So Lisa shares with us, after listening to Driving with Nancy's Believing in Herself, she said that she has a burning desire to complete. She says, I want that. She says, I want to complete my journey. I want that so much. Then the other side of me is saying, you can't do this. You never will. But then I have moments when I do believe that maybe I can. My why is number one for my health and not being a burden to my family so that I can enjoy life with them and not be on the bench watching life go by. My why also is to gain confidence in myself and really believe that I am worthy. So that is a very powerful why, Lisa.
Wow.
And you're like so many people in our country, in our world. It's female thing. You know, we're all worthy. We all have to believe in ourselves. We all have to forgive those who have, you know, harmed us or wronged us. And we have to find that inner desire to get healthy and let go of the emotional eating habits that we gain throughout the course of our lives and getting hooked on the physiological salt, sugar, fat that all these big food companies keep pushing out to all of us, and giving that up and finding your self-worth is truly going to drive your why and your determination to get healthy. And you're doing it. The good thing is, Lisa, you're doing it. You're an active member in the group. You're shrinking, and you're really starting to adopt the lifestyle. So we're really excited for you, and thank you for sharing your why. That's a really powerful one for women that are, and men that lack confidence and self-worth. I mean, we all have to get there.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
True. It's true.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Jeanne, do you want to share your why?
I do, because we haven't talked about our whys in a long time, and
we haven't.
And I think it's kind of powerful, you know, because I went into the emergency room. I had a 105-degree fever, and my blood pressure, at that time, I was on 4 blood pressure medications because my blood pressure was just off the charts. And even with 4 blood pressure medications, my blood pressure was still high. And when I went into the emergency room, my fever was 105, and my blood pressure was about 250 over 150. And I should have had a stroke.
I was going to say that's stroke numbers.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Why I didn't have a stroke, I guess he said, I need you to like wake up.
You have a lot of work to do down here for all these people that need
I know.
Yeah, he had plans for you, my friend.
I guess, but I had to hit that brick wall first. And I think that happens to a lot of us, is that, you know, we go along thinking that we can, you know, eat anything we want, and we're just going to have medication to take care of it. And no, but yeah. Anyway, so when I got into the hospital, I had a doctor who not only was a medical doctor, but she was a nutritionist. And she kept coming in asking me, what do you eat? What food are you eating? And she didn't say anything about plant-based, but she kept pushing me in that direction. She never went into that, but she kept asking me about the food. And after I got out, I mean, they never did find out what was wrong with me. I had some kind of infection, and, you know, they just kept throwing drugs at me, you know, and, you know, basically, I mean, oh my God, I was never so sick, Nancy, for a week. I was in the hospital, and I would shiver so bad. And they had to put sticks in my mouth because my teeth were chattering so bad. I could not control it.
That's barbaric.
It was. And they put, like a popsicle stick, you know, the wide popsicle sticks. They put it in my mouth. Yeah, exactly. And I would put that in my mouth just to keep my teeth from chipping and breaking, because they were chattering so bad. And they put like 10 blankets on me. It didn't matter. I was still freezing. I could not get warm. And then when I did get warm, oh my God, the sweats would come off, and oh my God, I mean, like, soak the bed, soak the blankets, soak everything in sight. And then finally, you know, and you know, then they'd have to come and change me and do the whole thing. And I just felt so bad, because I was like, oh my God, I'm so much work. Like 2 a.m, they're changing my sheets in bed. And then the chills would start. After the fever broke, then the chills would start. And I'd be shaking so hard. And I've never been so sick. And, you know, I basically was just surviving on those popsicles, you know, that they gave you, those little cups of frozen
ice stuff, yeah,
grape crap. That's basically what all of it I could eat. I mean, first of all, they wouldn't let me eat anything with any kind of salt in it because my blood pressure was just off the charts. And they just kept throwing more and more medication at me. And that week alone was $30,000. Okay. It was absolutely insanity. And I didn't have any like major tests. It's just blood work and medication. And just that week in the hospital, it was like $30,000. And I was like, so after I got out of the hospital, I went to go see her as a nutritionist. And she basically said to me, you have heart disease. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, because I didn't equate, high blood pressure and heart disease. They're two separate things. Yeah, no, not at all. So she started telling me, my symptoms, the heart disease, and if I didn't get the blood pressure under control and all these other things. And her first assignment was to read Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. And I have not looked back since. And then shortly after that, the movie Forks Over Knives came out, and that just sealed the deal right there on the spot. And yeah, and I haven't looked back. And, and as we've started doing things, we met through Plant Pure Nation when that movie came out, and we started doing pods and then challenging each other, as groups and whatnot. And that's how we connected. But still to this day, I can remember how sick I was. And I really, at some points I was just like going, this is not, I can't live like this. I can't go through this again. Because it was absolutely horrible. So
that's a very good why. That's a very good why.
Well,
and
I
no
think
more blood pressure medicine.
But I think the bigger piece is, I think one of my biggest fears, because my mother-in-law just passed away this year from Alzheimer's. And I think that is my biggest fear. And I've actually have said to my daughter, if I go in the home and I don't know who you are, put the pillow over my face, please. Just do it, okay? Yeah. I mean, put me down, okay? Because seriously, I don't want to be like that. And we watched my mother-in-law for 7 years. 7 years in this nursing home, just watched her get sicker and sicker and sicker.
It's a terrible disease.
It is. And I'm just watching this woman who was just such a vibrant, amazing woman. And, it was just a shell of her, and she didn't recognize her kids. And, it went very, very quickly, quickly. And
that's
in terms of losing everybody, thoughts. And then verbiage went not long after. I mean, she would just like, no words. And I think that's one of my biggest things right now. I mean, my initial why was the trip to the emergency room. And then my bigger piece is because I really am afraid of having that and being a burden to my kids, but me just also not being me anymore. Yeah. I worked too hard to get this way, I mean.
Well, that's a really powerful why. Well, I'll share mine. I know we're coming up on the 6 o'clock hour. My why is actually, I have a list. So, I have a cheat sheet. So my why started when I first started with smoking. I was always the woman who was about 40 to 50 pounds overweight. After high school, after I had met Nick, got married, I was, not back then. I should say after I got married and had Cassie, because 6 months after we were married, I got pregnant. And then I carried that weight up until my journey began. And hey, my cousin Dave just joined. Hi, Dave. Love you. So anyway, 40 pounds overweight, 50 pounds, always fluctuates back in there. All the yo-yo dieting, yo. And so I developed fatty liver syndrome because I started eating and not exercising and eating really bad food. My cuisine was Burger King, Taco Bell, convenience. I worked. I had daughters in high school, commuting. I had a sick mom, a sick dad. My dad had then passed away from severe heart disease and cancer. He died of official cancer. And he was a cardiac cripple his whole life. He had his first heart attack when he was 47, had his first open heart surgery in 1984 when he was 56. And then he had again at 62, another 5-way bypass. So, and then he had
5-way?
Yeah, 6, 5. Yeah, he had 11 total. Some were repeats, but and then he had congestive heart failure. And so it was really we couldn't do things because we couldn't stress my dad out because of his, very frail. He had multiple heart attacks. And so growing up, and he had his first heart
Well,
attack
you just
when
kept waiting for the shoe to drop for the next heart attack.
For the phone call. Yeah. I was at a junior high football game. I was in junior high at the high school football game, and my mom didn't show up to pick me and my friends up, and it was getting later and later and later, and my mom didn't pick us up. And I'm like, well, this is weird. So my friend Pam called her mom, and Pauline came and picked us all up. And my mom had called Pauline. We didn't know that, to come get us. And she said, Nancy, I'm taking you home with us. Your dad's in the hospital. He's sick. And so from there on, it was just really like living on eggshells because of his severe heart disease. And I didn't want to put my kids through that. I was 49 years old, and I thought, crap almighty, I'm older than my dad was when he had his first heart attack. Women, the number one killer of women is a heart attack. I was 100 pounds overweight, and I had so many other things going on. I had fatty liver syndrome. I had thyroid disease. I had rosacea. I was on 2 kinds of rosacea medication. My cholesterol was 263. And then I had, like you, Jeanne, I had a week in the hospital with 2 duodenal ulcers that went into, something happened within my duodenum. I think that's what it's called. Don't quote me on that. Some bile leaked into my pancreas, and I had this massive pancreatitis attack. And that landed me in the hospital for like 5 days. They kept saying, are you an alcoholic? Are you an alcoholic? I mean, they brought my husband in, my daughters in, and they were grilling me. They were saying, this is the type of vent that we see in alcoholics. And I'm like, no, I'm not an alcoholic. I drink socially on the weekends, have a beer if we go out to pizza or taco night. But no, I mean, that's the level of drinking that I drink at. And then they grilled my husband, and they're like, we don't know. It was just all of a sudden, boom, this pain hit, and
I bet that was the high fructose corn syrup. The high fructose corn syrup is in everything, all the products that you're eating, and that has an issue on the liver because the liver is the only thing that can break the fructose down.
That's funny you should say that, because we had been out to dinner. I got breakfast for dinner. I got a short stack of pancakes, used the syrup, from the table, which probably was fake syrup with high fructose corn syrup, and then a couple sausage links. And by the time we got home, 20 minutes later, I was doubled over in pain. And so from there, it was like, okay, the universe is talking to me. Saw forks over knives, and I never looked back. I sat on the couch and I cried my eyes out, thinking that my dad could still be here. I was daddy's little girl, love him, miss him so much. And thinking that everything that we've been told about nutrition has been a big fat lie. And
don't
that
you get so angry?
Well, you can tell my blood pressure is going up. I mean, we don't need animals to sustain our life. We don't need protein from animals. And when I put that together with the documentary, it was like everything in my axis of my life changed. I was the farm girl. We grew chickens for meat and eggs and lamb and pigs and cows and cattle, and this was our lifestyle. And when all of that changed, it totally changed my perspective on everything. So fortunately, I've lost 107 pounds now, ran 2 half marathons, and met Jeanne.
I know you're absolutely nuts for that. I mean, I'm sorry. And biking I can deal with, sure, absolutely. Put me on a bike, but you running, no.
I love it.
Unless a bear's chasing me, not doing it. No.
So, I'm off all my medication, and my doctor was wanting to put me on statins. I said, heck no. And no more levothyroxine, no more rosacea medication, and no more eczema medication. And my cholesterol's like below 150. It's totally normal, and no inflammation in my body whatsoever. My mom had 2 types of arthritis, rheumatoid and osteoarthritis, breast cancer. So I just didn't want to have that. I didn't want to do that to my kids. So that's my why. My why is like Howard's and, yours and Laura's. As a woman, the last thing in the world, I mean, I saw my mom die, of debilitating, not die, but I mean, just her life was so limited by arthritis, and my dad's was so limited by his heart disease. I don't want to be limited. I love the saying that Dr. McDougall has, I'm going to do the things today so that I can do tomorrow what others cannot. I want to be like Nick's aunt, who's 83 years old, climbing darn near to the top and to the top of Mount Whitney. You know, I mean, she's 82 and she's done it 32 times, you know. So that's the person I want to be. I want to be the grandma who's running with her grandson in local 5Ks, and I am not going to be sitting in a chair knitting. I refuse.
No, I'll be out in the kayaks. I'll be out in the bike, you know.
Yep.
How about you, Laura? What are you going to be out doing?
I honestly have no idea, because 4 months ago, if you would have told me I'd be riding my bike 25 miles a day, I would have laughed so hard. I mean, who knows?
Your journey is beginning, and it's really, you're totally in the fast lane. You're in the groove, Laura. I mean, I see you maybe a year or two from now signing up for your first century ride.
We'll see.
Absolutely. I can see that happening.
Absolutely.
Have you guys seen this? This is so cool. And I really want to get one of these, but you know, I'm just like, it's a little pricey, but it's called a street strider. Have you guys seen this?
Awesome. Those are so cool.
It is an elliptical bicycle.
Yep.
And you stand up and you're doing the elliptical movement and you use your body to turn. It doesn't have a turning like like the front wheel of a bike. But I'm like, how cool is that?
That's really cool. And no impact on your knees.
I know.
Yeah. No, it's really cool.
I keep looking at it and keep looking at it. The one thing that absolutely annoys me about the Street Strider, though, is you can have it sent to your house, but for an extra $300, we'll put it together for you and then ship it. I'm like, wait. I have to pay for something to be put together that I'm buying?
Yeah, some assembly required.
This is not some assembly required. This is like...
what I would do is talk to your local bike shop, and bike shops do all of the assembly of bicycles. And it might be something that you could literally take the box, have it delivered to a local bike shop and pay them $150 if, depending on, give them the website, let them look at it, see what they might quote you. Might be a lot better idea to have it done there.
Locally, yeah.
And
well, I'm not putting it together. I mean,
God, no, that'd be awful.
No. But I keep looking at it, and it keeps coming through my Facebook feed. It's like, they must know I've been to the website.
No kidding.
Those cookies.
Hey, there's Lisa. Lisa just joined. And Holly, my friend Holly joined. Hi, Holly. Hi, Lisa. Lisa, we shared your why.
How are you seeing this stuff? I know, but I'm on here too, and I don't see any like Lisa joining. And anyway,
I don't know. I'm special.
You are. I'm not going to say how special. Anyway, not going there.
Well, we're a little bit past the 6 o'clock hour. This has been a wonderful program. Laura and Judy and Lisa and Howard, thank you for sharing your why. Yeah. This is, and of course also Jeanne. When people hear your why and it resonates with them, it might be something that will really help them make a decision to get healthy. And of course we recommend the plant-based lifestyle that is hands down the best for your body. Fitness, absolutely important. You want to eliminate the chemicals and the toxins from your lifestyle, from your personal care products and your cosmetics. And there's a lot of our Talking Tuesdays that you can find on our Facebook page, and go back and listen to those with like our favorite things that we like, products we use. And it's really important to not only think about your nutrition, but also think about the chemical and toxin onslaught that's in our environment, because it does play a role in your journey to absolute better health.
Yep. And I'm hoping that we can get really soon to our topics on toxic beauty ingredients
next week.
Maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head, because we've got Dr. David Deneyev coming back.
Yep.
And he's going to be finishing up, because we started this wonderful conversation on heart disease. And we're going to finish up and go back to that and catch up on that topic, because we never finished it. We still had like 20 more questions of heart disease to discuss with him.
Well, that's really important that we do. It's also, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And of course, we here adopt the idea and the mentality as prevention before detection. So, you know,
that's what bothers me. Like I had somebody come in, you know, I was going into the mall and they stopped and said, "Oh, would you like to make a donation for breast cancer?" And I'm like, "I'll empty out my checkbook right now if you tell me this is going for education." And they're like, no,
Yeah.
this is going towards to help us defeat breast cancer. And I'm like, instead of trying to defeat it, how about prevent it?
Exactly. Exactly.
And there's nothing out there that talks about prevention. They talk about how we're going to change it and defeat it, and not, you know, if you get it, then we're going to treat it and make you healthy again. It's like, let's deal with not getting it. How about that?
I cannot recommend the book enough. Chris Beat Cancer. It was just released. It's powerful. 14 years, cured his colorectal cancer on a whole food plant-based lifestyle. And the book is phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. So highly recommend that. Prevention before detection. But also, we also want to mention that, I want to mention that, you know, on the fitness side of it, before we go, as far as upcoming guests on Talking Tuesdays, is we're going to have Micah Hanskins. Jeanne doesn't even know this yet, but Nick and I, he's a personal trainer, our personal trainer that we joined. He has developed a program that will be available to everybody soon called One Life 90. Nice. And it's really cool. So after we hang up, like you were saying, Laura, you're going to go ride your bike. We are going to go do about an hour and a half workout. So we're excited about that. And so fitness plays in your role. And awesome. We just had our plant-based Chico meeting last week where Dr. Karen Ramshai and I co-hosted, and we watched a very powerful documentary, or not documentary, but presentation on breast cancer prevention and how nice. Important it is. And fitness plays a huge role in that, not just breast cancer, but in preventing cancer. Like, you know, like you can prevent it like by 30% just by moving every day. Super important. Part of the lifestyle that we help teach you with. So do we have anything else? Laura, would you like to add anything to our show before we say goodbye?
Not really.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it and hearing your story because it's so powerful.
Absolutely.
I would like to inject.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Anytime you want to join us. And one thing I wanted to share, we're doing plant-based Westchester. We're October 20th. I just scheduled this. We've got in the next town over, Ossining, we've got a restaurant called The Good Kitchen. And Chef Lori is going to be creating a wonderful plant-based dinner. We're going to have a fall festival at her restaurant, and she's going to open it up after hours for us. And she's going to do a wonderful cooking demonstration and talk about the foods that we're eating that night and how they're going to promote our health. So I'm looking forward to that and connecting with Chef Lori. She's amazing, and she's offered to let us use her restaurant to do the next one we're going to do as a film, dinner and a movie. So awesome. Looking forward to that. Yep, we're starting to get together for Plant-Based Westchester because summertime usually people are AWOL. So let's get back into let's get back to the swing of things and
back in the groove.
Yep.
Right. If you're interested in learning more about the Starch Queens program, check out our website at sqweightloss.com. We have a fantastic website, starchqueens.net, where we have a lot of educational material, cooking videos, links to many pages and YouTube channels where you can learn about a whole food plant-based lifestyle, because that's mine and Jeanne's mission as the Starch Queens. You know, we do have our weight loss program. It's phenomenal. But our mission through our pods, our Plant Pure community pods, is to spread the word and the truth about how powerful you can change how powerful a plant-based lifestyle is, and how you can shed the weight and get healthy, just like Jeanne and Laura and myself. And, you know, it's amazing. And Howard, you're doing phenomenal. Lisa, and I saw Shada's Chef AJ's best friend. She's lost over 100 pounds, all by following a plant-based lifestyle. And it's not just about weight loss. It's about reversing disease and getting healthy.
Changing your health destiny.
Changing your health destiny.
Yep. Good night. Good night, John Boy.
Good night, Mary Ellen. And good night, Elizabeth down there.
I guess that's you, Laura. You're Elizabeth tonight.
Laura, you're Elizabeth tonight.
Okay. Good night.
Good night, everybody. And thank you, everybody, for joining in. We're so happy that you're joining us. We're here to learn more about your why. Good night.
And please share.
Please share. We always are appreciative when you share this to your Facebook feeds. Good night.